How did the message of the Harbinger go forth? The story began with a Super Bowl, Super Bowl 42.
It was called the greatest play in Super Bowl history. A man named David Tyree of the New York Giants. He jumps up in the air, gets the pass, pins it to his helmet in midair, and is tackled, and it changes the game. What a lot of people don't know is David Tyree is a born-again believer. Before he went into that Super Bowl, a man, a Christian, had given him a word and said to him that God was going to lift him up, and that God was going to take him out of obscurity. He wasn't known. He was going to put him in the spotlight, and it all happened. And he wrote a book about it and lifted up the Lord and mentioned this guy's name who gave him the prophecy.
The Super Bowl catch would play a prophetic role in the release of the Harbinger message to the nation. Shortly after completing the manuscript for the book, Kahn was traveling when a profound encounter occurred.
When I just finished the book, I'm on a plane heading to Texas, to Dallas. And in the airport, in Charlotte Airport, North Carolina, and I bow my head. It's the first chance I really have to just commit this all to God. I bow my head and I said, Lord, the Harbinger is your message. You gave it to me. I didn't come up with it. This is for your purposes, not mine. Your glory, not mine. You have to get it out your way, not mine. And not by the hand of man, not by people's plans, but by your hand. You got out words in the Bible. You know how to do it to get a prophetic word of warning to a nation. You know how to do it now. So I trust this. I entrust it to you. I open up my eyes. There's a man sitting to my left.
So I look over and I see the man, he has a book, and he's like this. So I look over and I'm kind of looking like that, and I think he was reading Proverbs. So I was like, see, he's Jewish. What have I got to say to him? So then I was like, do I really have to do this? I'm really tired. And I look again, and he actually went down in his seat like this. So I was like, oh, see, he's praying like this, so it's not going to make any sense. So I just take off my headphones, I put my coffee down, and I turn to him and I say, what's the good word?
And I said, well, God loves you. That's the good word.
And I went, okay, I know that. They were calling us for the flight, so it was time to get ready to get on. And right when we're ready to get up, I said, no, I have to do this. So I said, people are getting up and they're getting in line. And I said, you can't get up yet, I have something to tell you.
He turns to me, and after speaking, he says, you have a book. God gave you a message. This book is going to spread, it's going to go forth, it's going to be published, it's going to go forth to America. It's from God, it's going to change things, going to change your life, it's going to change people's lives, it's going to happen. And he goes on and on. I start writing it down. It turns out that man was the same man who gave the word to David Tyree before the Super Bowl. And he wasn't supposed to be on that flight, but his flight kept getting canceled by the weather until he was put on my flight. And he sat down next to me just as I was praying. Because of that Super Bowl catch, only because of that, this man was mentioned in David Tyree's book, was put in touch with Stephen Strang of Charisma Publishers. After the airport encounter, he sent word to Charisma Publishers. I didn't do a thing. I didn't go to anybody with a Harbinger.
One day I get an email from Hubie. He said he sat next to this Jewish fellow at an airport, and the man had a book that was going to change the nation, and he said it was going to be huge. And was I interested? And I wrote back and said, well, I need to know a little bit more than what you're telling me. Could I see a copy of the manuscript? But I said, the fact that you're interested in it makes me interested in it.
And that is how the word of the Harbinger went forth to America, became a New York Times bestseller. It happened not by the hand of man, it happened by the hand of God.